Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Tejano Traveler. I'm your host, Wally, and today we are deep in East Texas on the Texas Forest Trail to take a look at Mission Dolores State Historic Site. Now, I love educational movies, and this one starts off with a pretty cool educational movie. Definitely go check it out. While you're there, there's a reconstruction of what the mission would have looked like. Of course, they don't have those walls, they had these piney wooden posts for it. And there's a lot to read here. It's a new museum. It's been just over a couple years that they've had it, so it's growing. But I still like all the information that they have. It's very informative. You get to find out a lot about what was going on. Now, this mission was built in what today is San Augustine, Texas, which is, like I said, in East Texas. It was built by the Franciscan monks in 1721. They had originally been over on the Louisiana side in Las Aldeas, or Aldaes. I can't really pronounce some of those words. And they ended up having to leave to San Antonio, but they really wanted to keep those pesky French out, so they went back and continued to build their missions, even though they weren't really successful. They were there to um, baptize and convert the Ais Indians of the area. They belong to a culture of the Caddo, and they weren't very successful. They were actually afraid of it because most of the baptisms that occurred at death. So they started thinking that the waters that they were baptizing them with were the waters of death. So they pretty much stayed away. It wasn't successful. But if you come here, you get to learn a lot about the history. You get to find out that it was right on the Camino Real de los Tejas that went all the way from Mexico City to Natchitoches. I think that's how you pronounce it, not Natchitoches. Yeah, I'm done. You get to come here and see some of those relics, but they were so far away from Mexico, from Spain, that they were pretty much forced to trade with the French, which were their mortal enemies at the time and in the area. And they would have to do all these deals behind closed doors in order to get goods because they were way too far from civilization over here in East Texas. Way so far that your mortal enemy was your only hope of surviving. Anyways, you can see the historical marker of where the mission was, their plans for the future. Like I said, it's a pretty new state historic site. Although there's the old marker from the 1930s. Um, they plan to build a recreation of the mission, which is really exciting for me. I hope they start on it soon and I can get to go and see it because I've always enjoyed going to missions or recreations of missions. Like when you go to the park, there's also some walking trails where you get to see some of where the Camino was and get to experience what life was like back then by walking through the woods and seeing some of the swales, seeing some of their old remnants of the mission. That's a big archaeological field where they dug up a whole bunch of stuff and they got to find out more about it. Now, the place was pretty much taken care of by the local community until, like I said, in 2016, they transferred it over to the state and they built this museum here that we have. And now it's a state historic site. But further on down the road, you can go to the Lobanillo swales. A swale is a depression made into the ground from years and years of traveling on it. And it shows you right where San Augustine is and where the swales are. And look at that depression. That's where all the horses, all the carts, all the wagon wheels, all the walking, and that ended up creating indentations in the ground. And that's what you can see if you go to the Lobanillo swales. Definitely go check it out if you go see the mission. Anyways, thanks for watching with me. Bye bye.